Nation? What is going on? I am your host of Warriors Today, Allie Barefoot, and on today's show, we're going to be breaking down 3 major trades that the Warriors could possibly make by the NBA trade deadline for none other than former All-Star Andrew Wiggins. I've read your comments. I understand that you guys are kind of over Andrew Wiggins' playing style this year, despite what he's been for the Warriors in the past. So I'm going to break down 3 possible trades that I think Warriors fans would be on board with. But first, let's go on ahead and talk about what Andrew Wiggins' future looks like in the Bay Area. Well, Tim with The Athletic did break down that the Warriors are actually open to discussing trades for Andrew Wiggins. He said, though, I've said in the past that the Warriors might be reluctant to trade Wiggins so soon after he signed a relatively bargain rate contract extension, specifically so he could remain with this team. I've since heard that this would not be a major barrier for the Warriors to explore Wiggins' trade market, especially if he can't play with Kuminga and the Warriors decide that Kuminga is their full-time small forward. Now, first and foremost, if anything happens with Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, Draymond Green, or any of the Golden State Warriors, we are going to report it here. Breaking news, rumor styles, news style. I need you guys to go on ahead and hit that sub button because you do not want to miss out on the 2023-24 Golden State Warriors. Well, let's go ahead and break it down. Wiggins has a salary of $24.3 million. So we're going to talk about 3 big trades that the Warriors could actually do, would match up salaries, and potentially help the Warriors find that missing piece they've been looking for. Before we get into that, let's break down what Andrew Wiggins has done this season. As you can see, last year, of course, he was an All-Star, and he's been playing like that. He was the missing link for the Warriors in the past, but this season, he hasn't seemed to find his rhythm. 12.7 points per game. He averaged 17 last year, 17 the year before that. His assists are down. His field goal percentage is down. He's just not the Wiggins we know and love. And we understand that he went through a mental hiatus last year when he took that big, long break, but he hasn't ever really returned, it feels like. So, honestly, when I watch Andrew Wiggins, I see flashes of who he used to be, but I don't think he is all there. And that's okay, because Jonathan Kuminga has really stepped up for the Warriors this season. So, like Kerr has said, they don't play well playing together. So, you're either going to have to pick Kuminga and Andrew Wiggins. Well, look at what you're picking. You're pretty much at the same player here, except the field goal percentage has been a lot better from Jonathan Kuminga. However, he has played a few more games than Andrew Wiggins has. But it looks like Kerr has been riding the Kuminga train for the past 10 games or so since Draymond Green was suspended. Wiggins has been benched. Kuminga has been starting. So this may be the Dubs' future. What do you guys think? Do you think it's time for the Golden State Warriors to say goodbye to Wiggy, who was once a really important piece for the Warriors offense, but this year he just hasn't really shined? So go on ahead and type Y for yes, type N for no, and let me know what you guys think about Andrew Wiggins' future in the Bay Area. Well, I tell you guys about 3 things we all know the Warriors need by the February 8th NBA trade deadline. This is not new news. They need a true big center. I'm talking to producer Jack before we were filming this video, and we're like, we've been saying this since the offseason. Where's the big? Well, that's one thing they need. They also need another athletic power forward. They have had that with Jonathan Kuminga. He's been great, but if you're going to get rid of Andrew Wiggins, who has been an athletic power forward in his past, you might want to look for another one. And then, of course, the scoring's been a problem. Other than Steph Curry, which, of course, we saw against the Orlando Magic, they need that other shooter on the team. If Klay Thompson cannot be the splash brother we have all known and loved, these are 3 things that if I'm Mike Dunleavy, this is what I'm looking for on the trade market. I'm going to break down those 3 possible big trades for Andrew Wiggins coming up in just a few moments. But first, I want to tell you guys about one of our sponsors here on Warriors Today, and of course, that is Factor Meals. It's a ready-to-eat meal service that takes the stress out of meal planning. It's the perfect way to start off the new year, especially if you guys are more focused on feeding yourself healthy foods, especially if you want to go something with like keto, calorie smart, vegan, or veggie. They have all the options, including over 35 different recipes that are actually chef-crafted and delivered right to your door. If you want to get started, all you have to do is go to factormeals.com, dubschat50. You're going to use dubschat50 for 50% off. And you're not just getting dinner. You're getting breakfast options, snack options, to-go smoothies that are literally made with a full hydration's worth of a coconut. Oh my gosh, they are so good. It's cheaper, but it's great food. I promise this will make your life 10 times easier. They're ready to eat in just 2 minutes. No mess, no prep, no fuss. This is the way to go. Like I said, all you guys have to do is go to factorymeals.com/dubschat50. If you use that promo code dubschat50, you're going to get 50% off. I promise this is going to make your life so much easier. Well, I think the bigger question here is it time to finally let go of Andrew Wiggins? The Warriors have clearly benched Wiggins for Jonathan Kuminga, so if he's out of the starting five, Kerr says he can't play with Jonathan Kuminga, then the next thing is a trade. Let's talk about the first trade that I want to propose to you guys, and that is for Kyle Kuzma. The Warriors would receive, of course, Kyle Kuzma, and the Wizards would receive Andrew Wiggins and a 2026 first-round draft pick. Now, when I saw this, I was like, look, we've already made a trade with the Washington Wizards with Jordan Poole, but now I want a big. No, this isn't a true center, but Kyle Kuzma has a lot to offer. When you look at what he's done this past season, he's played 32 games, more than Wiggins, 21 points per game. He would be the second highest scorer on the Warriors immediately. His rebounds, 6.2. Kevon Looney's at 7.9, so that would be a huge help. Assists per game, 4.3. He's shooting all right. He can definitely shoot a little bit better. 3-point percentage, that's fine for Kyle Kuzma. I mean, it's not anything flashy, but like I said, you've got Steph Curry. You don't really need Kuzma for his 3-point shooting. But the reason why I had to include a first-round draft pick in there is because there have been some reports that have already said, look, the Wizards are open to talking about Kyle Kuzma, but they want some younger talent, especially like some draft picks. So Andrew Wiggins is not necessarily younger talent, but if the Warriors could possibly give up one draft pick, maybe two, I think Kyle Kuzma would be just a great salary swap to get a better player at this point in time. It could answer some of the Warriors' matchup problems. Of course, going in the Western Conference, you got a lot of bigs like Jokic. And so if you got Kyle Kuzma, who's 6'9", 6'10", I think it could really help the Warriors with their center problem, even though he is a power forward. But ultimately, do you guys think the Warriors should trade for Kyle Kuzma? It's a really interesting trade that I never thought I would be talking about here on Warriors Today, but that's where the Warriors season has come to. So I need you guys to go ahead and type Kuzma down below if you want to see Kyle Kuzma in a Golden State Warriors jersey. While you guys are typing that, let's talk about trade option number 2. The Brooklyn Nets have recently said they want to try to rebuild around Mikal Bridges. Now, they're not technically open to giving up Bridges, so we went the other route. So we're going to do Warriors receive Dorian Finney-Smith and Royce O'Neal for one player, Andrew Wiggins, and of course, a 2028 second-round draft pick. Why? Because both of these guys are over 30 years old. So they're not younger talents. You don't have to give away bigger assets to be able to obtain these guys. But what are you getting with these forwards? I mean, they're pretty good assets, in my opinion. I mean, nearly 10 points per game for Dorian. You've got 7.4 for Royce, which is okay. Their rebounds are pretty consistent, which is nice to see. Their assists, I like Royce's a lot better than Dorian. You can really use these in rotation pieces, is what I'm thinking. Giving up Wiggins, who is no longer a starter for Steve Kerr, means that you can possibly trade him away for other rotation pieces on the bench, which is still mind-boggling to even think about Andrew Wiggins being a rotation piece for the Dubs, but that's what it's come to. So why would you even trade with the Nets? Well, in reality, they want to rebuild around Bridges, and they're not really a playoff contender right now, but they have pieces that can help the Dubs be playoff contenders. But here's the thing. You're pretty much getting a good wing defender with Dorian Finney-Smith, and then you got a 3-and-D type of player with Royce O'Neal. I think that the Warriors could use some help on those wings because you got the guard position locked down with Steph Curry and Chris Paul. If you build around them and kind of substitute somebody like Klay Thompson for another wing defender / 3-and-D type of player, it could be pretty good, but they're both 30, and I'm kind of leaning more towards the younger Warriors in my opinion. Overall, those aren't still the centers that I know you guys are looking for. So what position do you want the Warriors to trade for this season? Do you think that Mike Dunleavy should go after that scrappy guard like I was talking about? Maybe another athletic power forward like a Jonathan Kuminga? Or are you guys still riding the train of picking up a big C? Go on ahead and type it down below. And that brings me to my third trade option that I proposed to you guys, which, yes, does include a center. This one is going to be with another Western Conference team, the Dallas Mavericks, who are currently 7th in the Western Conference, and of course the Warriors are 11th. But they would receive Tim Hardaway Jr. and Richaun Holmes. And the Mavericks would receive Andrew Wiggins and Moses Moody. I don't want to include Moody in a trade. I really tried to find something that wouldn't work without putting Moses Moody in here. I almost did the Kendrick Perkins, the Mo Moody. The Moses Moody trade here, but overall, this is what equals up with salary. And Moses Moody could also be on the outskirts of the Warriors franchise. What do you guys think right off the bat? Would you do this trade with the Dallas Mavericks? Type A for accept, type D for decline. Why I break down why this could be a good asset for both teams. Because did you know Tim Hardaway Jr. is actually in the sportsbook odds world? He's in second place to win the 6th Man of the Year award for the 2023-24 NBA season. However, that is more of a compliment to his offense rather than his defense. But here's why I say Moses Moody could be included in a future trade is because Steve Kerr has pretty much admitted he can't really figure out where Moses Moody fits. He said, we haven't found consistency, so we keep experimenting, and right now, Moses is out. But I know the way he carries himself, and if he's going to find his way back, Moses right now is the victim of our depth as a team and as a roster. Steve Kerr has already said, look, he used to have the starting 5 unit. He used to know night in, night out which 9 he was going to rotate in. But now he's got upwards of 13 players that he has to find time for every single night, which is why Moses Moody might not make sense. However, what does make sense, in my opinion, is just one trade for one player, one salary. That's Kyle Kuzma. I think if you just make a big blockbuster trade and just give Andrew Wiggins to the Washington Wizards and get Kyle Kuzma another 20-point scorer, that could solve more issues than not for the Dubs so far this season, who are 16-17 at this moment. Nonetheless, I told you guys early in the video, if anything is going to happen with the Golden State Warriors, we are going to report about it. Do not forget to hit that sub button for me right now, because I promise you, if a big trade's coming, you are not going to want to miss it.